Imagine a Russian presidential candidate campaigning for warm relations with the United States and the West, for LGBT rights at home, an end to corruption, and bringing back stolen billions into the country. Nope. It is not Vladimir Putin who's a shoo-in to win a stacked re-election next month. It's not even Russia's main opposition leader, Alexei Navalny, who's been banned from running on trumped-up fraud charges. It is my next guest, Ksenia Sobchak, a former reality TV star with almost 5 million Instagram followers and nationwide fame. She knows she won't win this time, but she says she wants to change the dialogue. She's been derided by critics as a Kremlin stooge who will only divide and conquer the opposition. But there is something new and different about Sobchak, as I found out when she joined me today from Washington. Ksenia Sobchak, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Ksenia, given this atmosphere, let's call it a heated atmosphere between Russia and the United States, it might seem strange for a Russian presidential candidate to be campaigning in Washington, D.C. Why are you there?
Well, it's not strange at all, and I'm sorry to say that to your American audience, but that's true. I'm here for my audience. I'm here for Russian people. I want to show a new vector of policy that will be there when I will become a president. And my vector is friendship with America and friendship with European Union. So this is kind of an act to show where my international policy will be. And I think that reset of our relations is the priority of the future international policy of Russia.
Well, listen, that would obviously be music to a lot of people's ears in the United States as well. But I guess, people want to know, do you also believe that you actually have a chance of winning?
Well, I don't think I have any chances to win this time, because in a casino, it's always casino who wins, and on Russian elections, it's always Putin who wins. But this is a chance to speak to my auditory on all the TV federal channels. By law, by Russian constitution, when you take part in a presidential campaign, you have a right to be on all federal channels. And that's the only chance to opposition to be heard, and that millions of people can see and hear about liberal values they haven't heard for more than 10 years already from TV.
Ksenia, that's really an important point, because I was going to ask you, President Putin obviously has a lock on the state media channels, and he has a lock on all the state bureaucrats and people all over the country. Not only do they work for him, but he's so well known. Do you feel that people know who you are?
Yes, of course. By all the polls in Russia, you can also check that up. I'm a very well-known person. All the people, more than 90% of Russians know who I am. So in this respect, my popularity is the same as Putin's. Only little babies and very elderly people don't know me. So this is where actually I think my victory can lie about, because this is how people will come to the votes and put a tick when they see my name. The only thing which is important to do is to tell about the values I share. It is to say how important liberalization of Russia is.
What are the policies, you call them liberal and progressive, that you would want to bring to Russia?
My goal is to bring the issues that were never brought up on federal TV, such as LGBT rights, which are a shock for many people because they really think that those people should go to prison. They shouldn't have any rights. And moreover, there's lots of people who share the idea that they should be punished for being LGBT just for this fact. The same with Crimea. For them, it's a shock to see someone saying that we broke international treaties, which is actually true. I'm saying nothing but the truth. So I'm not a populist. That's why I'm saying these things. I want people to see there is another position and another view on those subjects that are so important for Russian audience. And this is the only chance to speak them up, because Putin cannot lock TV anymore for me during the campaign. I was pushed out of the TV for 6 years. I lost all my jobs when I went out on the protest in 2011. And now it's the only chance to bring my position back on TV, because now he wants, an open elections. All the world is watching him, and he can't just keep one candidate away from TV.
You are in Washington, D.C. You're in the United States. So I want to ask you, do you believe that Russia hacked into America's democratic process, its election process in 2016?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. Well, it sounds like we really had something to do with it. But if it's so, I want to say sorry, and I think it's unacceptable for any country to meddle into the affairs of another country, nor for Russia, nor for America. So if that took place, well, I only can say I'm sorry.
And then let me ask you another thing, because you are also running as a very well-known TV personality. You've just explained that you are known all over Russia. And of course, President Trump ran as a very well-known businessman and TV personality. Are you taking a leaf out of his book? Are you sort of hoping to cash in on the so-called Trump effect?
Well, Trump is certainly not my hero. I'm sorry to say that, but that's true. But the most frustrating thing is those radical sayings Trump used to say here in US, like nasty women and all those kind of things. For Russia's, the saying that Crimea is not part of Russia, or that LGBT should have their right to marry and things like this is as radical. For Russian people, it's the same kind of shock. And unfortunately for us, liberal values are a shocking kind of thing. So this I want to break. And in this respect, unfortunately, we have something in common. But I really think that Trump effect can work, because my popularity in Russia is huge. I really did a lot in show business 10 years ago. Since then, for 10 years, I'm doing political journalism. But I want to show that your past is not a life sentence. It's a lesson you learn. And I really changed a lot for those past 10 years. And yes, I had some funny entertainment program, but that was long ago. And since then, I showed and proved to many of my citizens that I have changed a lot, and I really stand for the most important values in my country.
So now let's get to the obvious skepticism about your candidacy. Because it's Russia, most people are saying two things. One, you would never be allowed to run. You would never be approved to get all those signatures, which you have got, more than 100,000. Without the approval of the Kremlin, without President Putin's approval. And the other thing they say is the fact that you're running actually splits the opposition, because the main opposition candidate, Alexei Navalny, is not allowed to run on a trumped-up fraud charge.
First of all, I want to divide. Gathering those 100,000 citizens was all clear, and we made it maximally transparent with all the international organizations, such as Golos, for example. So we showed how transparent we were, and it was not a problem for me. What you're right about, those signatures could just not be accepted if Putin would call and say, no, I don't want her to go. So my point was to be underestimated, which actually happened. Yes, they are afraid of Alexei Navalny, and they're not that much afraid of a blonde girl from TV shows. And in totalitarian regime, this is the only kind of thing you can do. You can make someone feel they can underestimate you, and then you do your job. Because if we stand for values and not for leadership, it doesn't matter who says those important things on TV, Alexei or me. This was my position. But unfortunately, Alexei has another point of view. He thinks that those voices cannot be transferred. Nor me, nor Alexei Navalny could win on those elections. That's sure, and he also accepts this point of view. That's why I go there, and I don't know why he chose another way, because I think we could unite and show that we're together on these grounds, we're sharing the same values, and it doesn't matter, none of us could win this time, but we will still be there showing our firm position.